We have had the opportunity to work on 3 educational music projects. And the most sophisticated of the 3 is Wells Cathedral School Recital Hall, the Cedars Hall. I found the school extraordinary, with its Georgian houses and Victorian listed landscape beyond, and again, a playing field. The visit to Wells was compelling. Its valley setting with a magnificent cathedral. It's the English equivalent to Chartres in a way, a phenomenal facade with its westwork and sculpture, with small apertures in the stonework behind which choirs would sing, so the architecture sang. And at a setting of the sun in that space, lit with voices, was completely inspirational. As you walk around the city, you find music everywhere, seeping out of the walls, just part of the fabric. There's a connecting ley line between the Cathedral chapter house and the recital hall, through Vicar's Close. The chapter house and the way you get to it, up those wonderful bifurcating stairs, is a phenomenal architectural moment. The equivalent of Cedars Hall is the way in which the building nestles into the ground. The project is squeezed on every side. The edge of a cricket pitch, a garden which was sacrosanct, and a listed wall at the rear. Glass and metal was critical, and that it should be singular and without joints. And it has that very primeval sort of presence in the landscape, rising, playing with the light. So behind, I hope you can see the synthesis of the composition. The performance level is below the ground, and above it, at the gallery level, rise the 5-meter-high monoliths of weathering steel interspersed with transparent glass panels. Set back then to achieve the necessary volume for the performance space is the clerestory, which is held up and floats above. But the whole actually settles into the landscape with a horizon relating to the cathedral, and the great central tower rises on one side and the westworks on the other. To my right, you have the lawn from the cricket pitch moving into the space in front of the Georgian house, behind which is the great cedar of Lebanon. And it's worth noting the composition from a point of view of color, of the great warmth of the weathering steel set against the evergreen of the yew and the Atlantic cedar that is adjacent to the Cedars Hall itself. The interior, because it's settled into the ground, I saw as having a warmth in that lower arena, drawn out by the detailing that allows the acoustic to work to reduce flutter.
The geometry of the music space was relatively simple. The volume was large because we wanted it to be reverberant for big-ish orchestras. Reflective surfaces, lots of glass, very little diffusion. We used variable acoustic panels. The variability in the acoustics allowed you to change the reverberation time down to shorter times for speech and lyric theatre.
The ceiling form is a suspended belly that is lit and allows the lighting and acoustics to be absorbed.
It's like a chessboard of different heights. So when the sound comes up, it hits the ceiling. We don't get one plane coming back, it's broken up. So it introduces diffusion into the space.
The sense of the soffit of the roof was always part of a structural idea that it would come to its edges to be supported, but also to give it visibility from the exterior and also a sort of sense of pregnancy within the space.
They achieved the aesthetic that they wanted in the building, and we achieved the acoustic.
The life of buildings is absolutely critical, nowhere more so than in a space that is designed for sound, because that is the living part of the building. This is the moment the brain comes to life in a way that allows thought and experience to be understood. One remembers performances for their quality, but interestingly, never without a sense of where it takes place.
It's not only the visual effect of the building, which is a kind of tranquility and simplicity, but actually the sounds that you hear within it, which move you emotionally. In the business we say, if the building sings, the occupants will sing too.